So I have to give credit to a really good friend of mine and fellow designer, Sarah Kennedy, for coming up with a very cool technique that we're going to talk about in this lesson here. And it's kind of a funny story. She actually wrote me several months ago asking me how to do this type of effect, and then she took it a step further and made something really cool out of it, which inspired me to add this into this course, because what she did with it was very, very cool. And we're going to take it even a step further than that. So the technique is actually taking a block of words or a block of text and then putting it and making it in the shape of an object. In this case, we're going to do this bottle right here. And what Sarah had done, she actually did it to a wine bottle, and it came out very, very nice. It was a very nice and elegant design. We're going to take a kind of a fun spin to this. So here I have this bottle art, and I need to go ahead and create a path shape out of this bottle. Well, I already have one created here in my paths panel, but just so if you have a bottle like this and you don't need to go ahead and create the path, you can do it quick and dirty just by going and grabbing your magic wand tool and then clicking on the background, since it's a solid white background in this case, and then just go into the select menu and choose inverse. Flips the selection around, and now the bottle itself is selected. Then go into the paths panel and just go into the flat menu here and choose make work path, and then you've got your path. There it is. So once your path is created, I'm going to go and use the one I already have here. All we need is that path in the shape of that bottle. We don't need the image of the bottle or anything like that. We just need that path. So we'll select the path here, go under Edit, go to Copy, and we'll go ahead and open up the image we're going to build this effect inside of. So we'll go ahead and minimize that for the moment. And I'm going to go ahead and under the menu and go to Edit, Paste, and it's going to bring that bottle inside of my artwork here. And I'm going to go ahead and scale it. Just make it a little bit bigger here. And let's go ahead and save the path by double-clicking on it, and we have bottle here. There we go. So there is my path that we're going to put our text inside of. Now, for the text, I'm going to go ahead and use Lorem Ipsum, which is a website that generates filler text. But, of course, if you had a project where you had specific block of copy or a collection of words you wanted to include this, you would apply this the exact same way. So I'm going to go ahead and generate some dummy text here, and let's go ahead and select these first 3 paragraphs here and go ahead and copy that to the clipboard. So back over here in my Photoshop design, we're going to zoom in a little bit here so we can see what's going on. I'm going to grab my text tool. Let's actually first go ahead and select the path itself. I'm going to grab my horizontal type tool. And when you move the cursor in your document, it looks like a regular type cursor. But when you position it inside of the path, it changes to letting you know you're about to put text inside of a path. If I was on the path, there would be text on the path, and we're actually going to do that in just a moment. But I'm going to go ahead and click and set this text layer inside of this shape. Notice it's got the cursor at the very top here. I'm going to go ahead and set the font. I'm going to go ahead and keep Trajan Pro as my font, and I'm going to go ahead and set the size to 10 here, and then we'll just go into the Edit menu and choose Paste. Now, I obviously used black as our color here, so let's do a Select All and change that color to white. And there's my text inside of my bottle shape. Now, obviously, where the paragraph breaks are, we have to go ahead and take care of that. So I'm going to go put my cursor inside the text here and position it on that last line there. Hit Delete, and it's going to bring that text back up in that area. Looking pretty good. Now, some of the gaps in here that we're seeing are the result of different line breaks and things like that. So there's a couple ways you can take care of that. I'm just going to go ahead and put my cursor in here again and do a Select All, and just adjust the tracking on this layer to adjust that spacing. So it increases that. Now we've got another paragraph break here. So I'm just using standard text formatting tools to manipulate this area here. So I think that looks pretty good. So we've got the text in the middle of our shape. So if I deselect this and turn this off, you can see that now we have a block of copy in the shape of our text. Pretty cool. Now, we can manipulate that shape anytime we want. If I go back and select this text layer here, put our cursor inside there, so it brings up the path. I'm going to use my direct selection tool here and just nudge this down so that line kind of, there we go. So we got a straight edge on that top there. So that looks pretty good. Now, one thing you can do here, let's say you wanted to emphasize a particular word inside of this block. Well, obviously this is a lot of gibberish because we took it from Lorem Ipsum. And that tracking's a little too much, so let's increase that a little bit. So let's say we wanted to add something in here. Well, let's just like, you know, maybe it was a year. So we'll add 2010 right there and increase the tracking on that. And even go ahead and make it bold, perhaps, and change its color. So now it's a text element that stands out in that overall shape. So this is certainly one way of, you know, creating that art, manipulating that, and then emphasizing a specific word inside of that. So we've got some spacing issues here. Now, of course, one thing you can do with the spacing, if you got too many of these little gaps in here, here's a cool trick you can do. Go into your edit menu, go to find and replace text. Let's go ahead and do a select all on the text just so it takes care of everything. Go into the edit menu, go to find and replace text. If you didn't want to have any spacing at all between the letters, you can go ahead and tell it to find a single space, just hit the space bar once, change it to nothing. Then go ahead and change all. Now, depending on how much text you've got inside your shape, this could take a moment, so we're just going to go ahead and jump ahead and see what the result is. Alright, so you can see what's going on here is we've got the bottle filling in the shape completely with no spaces in the letters. It gives me a much cleaner design. So if you didn't necessarily want the text readable, or if you just wanted to increase the tracking and make that, which actually we could do, make that a little bit more readable. And we've got that 2010 inside there, and you can position that anywhere you like. But now we've got the shape looking a little bit more convincing. So if we zoom out, there's our bottle shape containing the text. So that's pretty much what Sarah did, and it was a very interesting way of doing it. So what I decided, I wanted to take it a step further. I've got a new layout here that I'm going to go ahead and bring this in. It's a horizontal layout, so we'll go ahead and bring this text element over. Let's just actually drag the layer over. There we go. And what I wanted to do is actually tilt the bottle and then have some lines of words kind of spewing out of the bottle, like it's like a wine or a soda bottle that's just kind of exploding with words, really. But what I noticed is if I scale this object down, and I'm just scaling it proportionally by holding down the Shift key and the Option key as I scale it, what I notice is that the text is getting reformatted whenever I tilt it. If I put this in Free Transform now and rotate it and then press Enter, the bottle tilts, but the text stays upright. Now, in some cases, this might be exactly what you're looking for. It still maintains the shape, but the text is a little bit stylized. But let's say I wanted the text to actually stay like this as I tilt the bottle. Well, what you can do is go ahead and convert this text layer into a smart object. So if I go and right-click on this layer and choose Convert to Smart Object, when I go and rotate it now, it maintains that shape and that formatting. So it doesn't reformat the text when I scale it or do anything of the like that. So now I'm just going to rotate this so it's kind of sitting just like this. And as I said, I want to add some elements that looks like it's kind of like exploding liquid out of the bottle, but in this case it would be words. So let's grab our pen tool and go ahead and make a curved path like this. And that's just going to be one single curved path like it is right there. And let's go and select, in this case, well, in the case of a real design, it would obviously be something like a line of copy, but in this case I'm just going to grab this one sentence here, copy that, and I'm going to place that on the path. Earlier we put text inside the path, but now I'm going to put text on the path itself. So we'll select that path there, again selecting the horizontal type tool, and then position the cursor right on the path and click once, sets the path. Go ahead and paste that text in there, and we need to widen the window here so we can see, and there we have that one sentence of text. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and increase that size. Let's actually paste it again. Got to be careful with these paths because they get a little touchy sometimes. There we go. Let's go ahead and paste that one more time. So we got a nice stream there. So I'm going to position that right here where the bottle is. Let's give it a different color, actually. I'm not too fond of that red. There we go. So you can just make duplicates and paste other lines of copy on these paths that we have manipulated here. Let's make another one that's got a little bit more of a curve to it. Again, like before, horizontal type tool, set the path, paste it. We'll go ahead and have this come out here, and we'll just go ahead and reposition this. Again, rotating it. And we've got various elements of the text kind of spewing out of there. Kind of cool. We'll make a couple of duplicates here. And of course, you could always go in here and just manipulate or paste new copy into each one of these, giving you an ultimately interesting design. So we've built the shape out of a path. We made the path out of an image, and then we put text inside of that to generate that shape. But you got to remember that formatting, because if you just put text in there and it's not formatted right, you got to make sure you set the justification to fill in the shape and everything looks great like that. But do remember that smart object trick. If you didn't want the text to stay upright like it was, you wanted it to actually manipulate and bend with the object, then you're going to want to contain it in a smart object before you do that. But ultimately, that's how you can get very interesting design elements with blocks of copy and path shapes.